First contact fiasco. The night sky over New Mexico erupted in a dazzling spectacle of light and sound, startling rancher Jake Harrison from his evening routine. At first, he mistook the growing fireball for a meteor, but as it streaked closer, the unmistakable outline of a spacecraft emerged from the flames. "Holy cow," Jake muttered, fumbling for his phone. His fingers trembled as he dialed 911, eyes fixed on the plummeting ship. "Y'all ain't gonna believe this, but I swear there's a spaceship crashing on my property." Miles away, at Kirtland Air Force Base, Captain Samantha Chen's quiet night shift exploded into chaos. Alarms blared as radar systems tracked the unidentified object's rapid descent. "Scramble the response team," she barked, strapping on her tactical gear. "And someone get me Nessa on the line. We got a situation that's way above our pay grade." As emergency vehicles raced towards the crash site, the ship made its final violent impact. The ground shook, and a plume of dust rose into the starlit sky. Jake, against his better judgment, approached the smoldering wreckage. The acrid smell of burnt metal and alien chemicals filled the air. Suddenly, a section of the hull cracked open with a hiss. Jake stumbled backward, his heart pounding. A slender, silvery limb emerged, followed by a being unlike anything he'd ever seen. Its iridescent skin shimmered in the moonlight, and multiple eyes blinked in rapid succession, adjusting to Earth's atmosphere. The alien locked eyes with Jake, and in that moment, the weight of this unprecedented encounter hit him. He was the first human to make contact with an extraterrestrial being. "Howdy," Jake managed, raising a tentative hand in greeting. "Welcome to Earth, I reckon." The alien's response was a series of melodic clicks and whistles. Despite the language barrier, the pain and desperation in its voice were unmistakable. It gestured frantically at the ship, its movements becoming more agitated by the second. Jake's eyes widened as realization dawned. "There's more of you in there, ain't there? Hang on, help's coming." As if on cue, the roar of approaching vehicles filled the air. Captain Chen's team arrived first, securing the perimeter with practiced efficiency. She approached Jake, her expression a mix of awe and determination. "Sir, I need you to step back," she ordered, her gaze fixed on the alien. "We're dealing with an unprecedented situation here." Jake stood his ground. "Ma'am, I don't know what your protocols are, but these folks need help. There's more trapped inside." Chen hesitated, years of training clashing with the urgency of the moment. The alien's distressed sounds grew louder, more insistent. "Screw it," Chen muttered. "Team, this is a rescue operation. Move in, but stay alert." As the military personnel cautiously approached the wreckage, a cacophony of alien voices emanated from within. The ship's hull was a mangled mess of exotic metals and crystalline structures, nothing like the aircraft Chen had trained on. "How the hell do we get in there?" one of her team members asked, voicing the collective frustration. It was Jake who provided the unlikely solution. "Hold up," he called out, jogging back to his truck. He returned moments later with a plasma cutter, typically used for farm repairs. "This might do the trick." Chen raised an eyebrow, but nodded her approval. Under the bewildered gaze of the first alien, Jake and two airmen began cutting through the hull. The alien watched intently, its multiple eyes blinking in rapid succession. As the makeshift rescue team created an opening, more aliens emerged. Some were injured, their iridescent skin marred by cuts and burns. Others seemed to be in shock, trembling as they took in their surroundings. One alien, adorned with intricate markings that hinted at a position of authority, approached Captain Chen. It held out a device that projected a holographic image of a star map, pointing insistently at one particular system. "I think it's trying to tell us where they're from," Chen mused, studying the projection. "But why were they here? And what caused the crash?" As if in answer, the ship's remnants groaned ominously. A surge of energy pulsed through the wreckage, and a hidden compartment burst open. Inside, a sophisticated device blinked with an angry red light. The lead alien's eyes widened in what could only be described as terror. It lunged for the device, frantically manipulating its controls. The red light faded to green, and the alien slumped in visible relief. Was that a bomb? Jake asked, his voice barely a whisper. Chen's expression hardened. Or a distress beacon. Either way, I've got a feeling our new friends didn't end up here by accident. As if to confirm her suspicions, a low rumble filled the air. The group looked up to see multiple objects entering the atmosphere, their trajectories unmistakably controlled. As if to confirm her suspicions, a low rumble filled the air. The group looked up to see multiple objects entering the atmosphere, their trajectories unmistakably controlled. More ships, Chen breathed. Looks like the welcoming committee's arrived. The lead alien's demeanor changed dramatically. It began gesturing wildly, its melodic language taking on an urgent, almost panicked tone. Though the words were incomprehensible, the message was clear. Danger was approaching. Get these aliens to safety, Chen ordered her team. And someone find me a linguist. We need to establish communication fast. As the military personnel scrambled to follow orders, Jake found himself face to face with the lead alien. Despite the chaos unfolding around them, a moment of understanding passed between human and extraterrestrial. Both recognized the gravity of what was unfolding. This was more than a crash landing. It was the beginning of something monumental. Don't you worry, Jake said, placing a reassuring hand on the alien's shoulder. We'll figure this out together. The alien blinked its multiple eyes, and for a moment, Jake could have sworn he saw a glimmer of hope in those otherworldly orbs. As the new ships drew closer, their imposing silhouettes blocking out the stars, humanity stood on the precipice of a new era. The quiet New Mexico night had become the stage for a cosmic drama, with Earth cast in the unexpected role of sanctuary. Captain Chen, her military training warring with the sheer impossibility of the situation, took a deep breath. Well, ladies and gentlemen, she announced to her team, looks like first contact is going to be a bit more complicated than we ever imagined. The crash-landed aliens huddled closer to their human rescuers, a picture of unlikely alliance. As the approaching ships began their descent, one thing became crystal clear. Earth's first steps into the galactic community would not be a gentle stride, but a headlong plunge into deep, uncharted waters. And humanity, ready or not, would have to learn to swim. Diplomatic tensions rising. The dawn broke over New Mexico, casting an otherworldly glow on the scene of last night's cosmic drama. The crashed alien ship, now cordoned off by a mix of military personnel and hastily assembled scientific teams, gleamed dully in the early morning light. But all eyes were on the sky, where three massive vessels hovered ominously, just beyond the reach of Earth's atmosphere. Inside a makeshift command center, Captain Samantha Chen paced restlessly, her eyes darting between monitors displaying a cacophony of data streams and live feeds. The lead alien, whom they had started calling Ambassador for lack of a better term, stood nearby, its iridescent skin reflecting the blue glow of computer screens. Any progress on communication? Chen asked, turning to Dr. Eliza Vargas, the linguistics expert who had been working through the night. Vargas shook her head, frustration evident in her furrowed brow. It's unlike any language structure we've ever encountered. We're making some headway with basic concepts, but nuanced communication is still beyond our reach. As if to emphasize the point, the ambassador began a series of melodic clicks and whistles, gesturing frantically at the screens showing the hovering ships. I think it's trying to warn us about something, Jake Harrison chimed in. The rancher had refused to leave, insisting his farm made him uniquely qualified to help with the alien situation. Chen raised an eyebrow. And how exactly did you come to that conclusion, Mr. Harrison? Jake shrugged. Same way I know when my horses are spooked by a coyote. Body language. Our shimmery friend here is scared stiff of whoever's in those ships. Before Chen could respond, a crackle of static filled the room. A booming voice, speaking in the same musical language as the ambassador, echoed from the communication systems. The ambassador's reaction was immediate and dramatic. It cowered, its multiple eyes blinking rapidly in what seemed to be fear. Dr. Vargas' fingers flew over her tablet. I think we're receiving a transmission from the ships. It's the same language base as our guests, but the tone is different, more authoritative. Can we respond? Chen asked, her military training kicking in as she assessed the potential threat. Not with any complexity, Vargas admitted, but we might be able to convey basic intentions. Chen nodded grimly. Tell them we mean no harm and request peaceful communication. As Vargas worked to translate the message, Jake approached the ambassador. Despite the alien's obvious distress, it seemed to find comfort in the human's presence. "Hey there, partner," Jake said softly. "Mind filling us in on what's got you so riled up?" To everyone's surprise, the ambassador reached out and placed a slender, multi-jointed hand on Jake's forehead. Suddenly, Jake's mind was flooded with a torrent of images and emotions. He saw a vast, beautiful world with crystal spires and flowing architecture. He felt the warmth of community, the joy of scientific discovery. But then came darkness, political strife, oppression, a regime change that plunged the civilization into chaos. Jake gasped as the connection broke, stumbling backward. "Holy smokes," he breathed. "I think I just got the Cliff's Notes version of their entire history." Chen was at his side in an instant. "What did you see?" As Jake recounted his vision, the atmosphere in the command center grew tense. It became clear that the crashed ship wasn't just a vessel. It was carrying political refugees fleeing a tyrannical regime. "So the ones up there," Chen gestured to the sky, "they're the bad guys." The ambassador nodded emphatically, its melodic language taking on a somber tone. Dr. Vargas looked up from her work, her face pale. "Captain, I've managed to decipher more of the transmission. It's an ultimatum. They're demanding we hand over the survivors." Chen's jaw clenched. "Like hell, we will." As if in response to her defiance, the hovering ships began to descend. Alarms blared across the compound. "We've got incoming," a technician shouted, multiple smaller craft detaching from the main ships. Chen barked orders, mobilizing her team for a potential confrontation. But as she turned to coordinate with the global response teams now joining the fray, she noticed Jake and the ambassador deep in conversation, or whatever passed for conversation between a human and an alien communicating through gestures and empathic bursts. "Harrison, what's going on?" Jake looked up, his eyes wide with a mix of fear and excitement. "Captain, I think our friend here has an idea, but you're not going to like it." Over the next few minutes, as the alien ships drew ever closer, Jake relayed the ambassador's plan. It was audacious, borderline insane, and relied heavily on human ingenuity and the element of surprise. Chen listened, her expression shifting from skepticism to grudging admiration. "It's risky as hell," she admitted, "but it just might work." As the team scrambled to put the plan into action, drawing on resources from across the globe, the first of the alien ships touched down in the New Mexico desert. A hatch opened, and out stepped beings similar to the ambassador, but adorned in elaborate militaristic attire. Their leader, a towering figure with eyes that gleamed with cold intelligence, approached the human delegation. Dr. Vargas, armed with her hastily constructed translation matrix, stepped forward. "Greetings," the alien leader's words were translated into a monotone English. "We come to reclaim our lost property. Hand over the fugitives, and we will depart your world in peace." Chen, standing tall despite being dwarfed by the alien, replied firmly, "With all due respect, the beings you refer to as property have requested asylum on our planet. We do not recognize your authority over them." The alien leader's eyes narrowed dangerously. "You primitive creatures dare to interfere in matters beyond your comprehension. Perhaps a demonstration of our power will change your mind." With a gesture, the leader summoned a device from one of its subordinates. As it raised the object, crackling with ominous energy, Jake stepped forward. "Now hold on just a minute," he drawled, seemingly unfazed by the tension. "Before y'all start throwing around fancy alien tech, might I suggest a good old-fashioned sit-down? Where I come from, we believe in hearing both sides of the story before jumping to conclusions." The alien leader paused, clearly taken aback by Jake's casual demeanor. It was in that moment of hesitation that the ambassador made its move. Darting forward with unexpected speed, the ambassador snatched the device from the leader's hands. In a fluid motion, it interfaced with the alien technology, its multiple eyes blinking rapidly as it processed vast amounts of data. Chaos erupted. The military aliens reached for weapons, but found themselves suddenly immobilized. The ambassador had accessed their suit controls. Chen's team, following the prearranged plan, moved swiftly to secure the incapacitated invaders. What is the meaning of this?" The alien leader sputtered, its translated voice losing its authoritative edge. The ambassador, still interfaced with the alien tech, began to broadcast. Images filled the sky, holographic displays visible for miles around. They showed the truth of the tyrannical regime, the oppression and suffering of its people, the brave resistance of those who sought freedom. As the revelations unfolded, the expressions of the military aliens began to change. Confusion gave way to shock, then to shame, and finally to anger, but not directed at the humans or the refugees. Their own leaders had deceived them, twisted their sense of duty to serve an unjust cause. Hours passed in tense negotiation. The ambassador, with Jake and Dr. Vargas at its side, bridged the communication gap. Slowly, a new understanding began to emerge. As the sun set on that extraordinary day, Earth found itself in a position no one could have predicted. No longer just an isolated planet, it had become a sanctuary for beings seeking freedom, a neutral ground where a galactic injustice could be set right. Chen, watching as humans and aliens cautiously began to mingle, sharing food and stories, felt a surge of pride. Against all odds, humanity had risen to an impossible challenge. "You know," Jake said, sidling up to her with a grin, "I always thought first contact would involve more probes and cattle mutilations. This is way better." Chen couldn't help but laugh. "Harrison, I have a feeling this is just the beginning. We've got a lot of work ahead of us." As if to punctuate her words, a new alert sounded from the command center. More ships were appearing on long-range scanners, representatives from other alien factions, drawn by the commotion. Earth was about to become the center stage of a galactic drama, and humanity, with its unique blend of compassion, ingenuity, and sheer audacity, was ready to play its part. The diplomatic dance was just beginning, and the stakes couldn't be higher. But as Chen looked around at the unlikely alliance forming between humans and aliens, she felt a spark of hope. Perhaps, just perhaps, this could be the start of something truly extraordinary. Uncovering the sabotage. The once quiet New Mexico desert had transformed into a bustling interstellar hub. Temporary structures dotted the landscape, housing a mix of human and alien delegates from across the galaxy. The crash site of the original ship, now cordoned off as a crime scene, stood as a stark reminder of how quickly Earth had been thrust onto the cosmic stage. Inside the central command center, Captain Samantha Chen rubbed her temples, fighting off a headache as she stared at the holographic display of the damaged alien vessel. Something didn't add up. "Run the simulation again," she ordered, her voice tinged with frustration. Dr. Eliza Vargas, now fluent in several alien dialects thanks to her neural interface with the ambassador, input the commands. The hologram flickered, showing the ship's descent into Earth's atmosphere. "I don't get it," Jake Harrison muttered, squinting at the display. That ship was top-of-the-line alien tech. How'd it just fall apart like that? The ambassador, its iridescent skin shimmering under the artificial lights, let out a series of melodic clicks that Dr. Vargas translated. "It shouldn't have. Our vessels are designed to withstand far greater stresses than Earth's atmosphere could produce." Chen's eyes narrowed. "So we're not looking at an accident. This was deliberate." As if on cue, Alarms blared throughout the compound. Security feeds showed a commotion at the perimeter. A group of aliens from one of the newly arrived delegations was demanding entry, their agitation clear even through the language barrier. "What now?" Chen groaned, already moving towards the exit. Outside, they found a tense standoff. The new arrivals, tall beings with crystalline structures protruding from their bodies, were gesticulating wildly at the human guards. Dr. Vargas stepped forward, her neural interface working overtime to process the alien language. "They're saying they have crucial information about the crash. Something about industrial espionage." Chen exchanged a glance with Jake and the ambassador. "Let them through," she decided, "but keep security tight." As the crystalline aliens were escorted into the command center, their leader, a being whose entire form seemed to shimmer with barely contained energy, approached the holographic display of the crashed ship. With a gesture, the alien interfaced directly with the hologram, adding layers of complex data to the simulation. Suddenly, the crash trajectory changed, revealing a cascade of system failures that couldn't possibly be coincidental. "By the stars," the ambassador whispered, its multiple eyes wide with shock. It was sabotage, but not by the regime. This was industrial. The crystalline alien leader nodded solemnly, its voice a chiming resonance that the translation matrix struggled to keep up with. "We are the Zircol, makers of the quantum drives that power vessels like the one that crashed here. We detected an anomaly in our production data and traced it to this incident." Jake let out a low whistle. "So someone's been tampering with your fancy space engines. That's a mighty big problem, I reckon. Bigger than you can imagine, human," the Zircol leader replied. "If this sabotage is widespread, it could destabilize travel and commerce across multiple sectors of the galaxy." Chen's military mind was already racing through the implications, and it would give whoever's behind it a significant tactical advantage. They'd know exactly which ships to target. The ambassador's skin pulsed with patterns that Dr. Vargas recognized as extreme distress. "This goes beyond our internal political struggles. If the quantum drive network is compromised, it could lead to interstellar war." As the gravity of the situation sank in, alarms blared once again. This time, it was the long-range sensors. Multiple ships were dropping out of faster-than-light travel near Earth's orbit. "We've got company," Chen announced grimly, "and something tells me they're not here for a friendly visit." The next few hours were a whirlwind of activity. As Chen coordinated Earth's limited defensive capabilities with the friendly alien factions, Jake found himself in an unlikely role, diplomatic liaison. "Now look here," he drawled, addressing a holographic conference of alien leaders from across the galaxy. "I might just be a simple rancher, but I know trouble when I see it. We got ourselves a real problem, and pointing fingers ain't gonna solve it." To everyone's surprise, Jake's straightforward approach seemed to resonate with the alien diplomats. His lack of political pretense and genuine desire to find a solution cut through the layers of suspicion and bureaucracy. Meanwhile, Dr. Vargas and a team of human and alien scientists were working feverishly to unravel the mystery of the sabotaged quantum drive. The Zircol shared their production data, while the ambassador provided insights into the political landscape that might reveal potential culprits. As they worked, a pattern began to emerge. The sabotage wasn't the work of a single faction or even a single species. It was a collaborative effort, with tendrils reaching into multiple governments and corporations across the galaxy. "It's a conspiracy," Dr. Vargas breathed, her eyes wide as she absorbed the implications of their findings. "A group working from the shadows, playing factions against each other." The ambassador's skin rippled with a pattern that denoted deep concern. "This explains much about the recent conflicts in our sector. We've all been manipulated, pushed towards war by unseen hands." Just then, Jake burst into the lab, his face flushed with excitement. "Y'all ain't gonna believe this, but I think we got ourselves a solution, or at least part of one." He explained how, during the diplomatic talks, He'd managed to broker an unprecedented agreement. Multiple alien factions, setting aside centuries of mistrust, had agreed to a joint task force to investigate the sabotage and root out the conspiracy. And get this, Jake grinned. They want Earth to lead it. Said something about our unique perspective and unifying presence, or some such. Chen, who had joined them in the lab, looked stunned. Us? Lead an interstellar task force? We barely have spacecraft that can reach our own moon. The ambassador placed a reassuring hand on Chen's shoulder, its touch conveying a sense of calm and purpose. Perhaps that is precisely why you are suited for this role. Your species is new to the galactic stage, unburdened by old grudges and alliances. You see with fresh eyes. As if to underscore the point, the screens in the lab lit up with incoming transmissions. The alien ships that had arrived in Earth's orbit weren't a threat. They were reinforcements. Word had spread about Earth's role in uncovering the conspiracy, and factions from across the galaxy were pledging their support. Well, I'll be damned, Jake chuckled. Looks like we've gone from backwater planet to galactic peacekeepers in less than a week. Dr. Vargas shook her head in amazement. The amount of scientific and cultural exchange this will bring. It's beyond anything we could have imagined. Chen, ever the pragmatist, was already thinking ahead. We're going to need to establish new protocols, training programs. Our entire global infrastructure will need to adapt. As the implications of their new role sank in, a sense of purpose filled the room. They had uncovered a threat that spanned the galaxy, but in doing so, they had also discovered humanity's unique strength, the ability to bring diverse factions together, to find common ground in the face of overwhelming odds. The ambassador's melodic voice filled the air, translated by Dr. Vargas. My friends, we stand at a crossroads of cosmic significance. The path ahead is fraught with danger, but also with unprecedented opportunity. Earth has proven itself not just a sanctuary, but a beacon of hope for the galaxy. Jake grinned, tipping his hat. Well, when you put it like that, how can we refuse? I reckon it's time for humanity to saddle up and ride out into that final frontier. As they turned their attention to the monumental task ahead, preparing Earth for its new role, coordinating with alien allies, and planning their strategy against the shadowy conspiracy, there was a palpable sense of excitement and determination. Earth, the little blue planet that had seemed so insignificant just days ago, was about to become the linchpin in a galactic drama. And humanity, with its unique blend of ingenuity, compassion, and indomitable spirit, was ready to rise to the challenge. The next chapter in Earth's history was about to be written among the stars. Race against time. The United Nations General Assembly Hall buzzed with an energy unlike anything in its history. Delegates from every nation on Earth sat side by side with alien representatives, the chamber a kaleidoscope of human and extraterrestrial diversity. At the podium, Captain Samantha Chen took a deep breath, steeling herself for the most important speech of her life, and quite possibly the most crucial moment in human history. Distinguished delegates, honored guests from across the stars, she began, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. We stand united in the face of a threat that spans galaxies. The sabotage of quantum drives is not just an act of industrial espionage, it is a deliberate attempt to plunge multiple civilizations into chaos and war. As Chen laid out the evidence uncovered by their joint human-alien task force, holographic displays flickered to life around the chamber, showing the intricate web of the conspiracy. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the audience as the true scale of the threat became clear. But we have an advantage, Chen continued, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. Our diversity, our fresh perspective in the galactic community, and most importantly, our unity in the face of this crisis. We have before us an opportunity not just to prevent a war, but to forge a new era of interstellar cooperation. As the speech concluded, the chamber erupted in applause. A cacophony of human voices and alien vocalizations united in purpose. The resolution was passed unanimously. Earth would lead a multi-species task force to uncover the conspiracy and neutralize the threat. Back at the command center in New Mexico, now expanded into a sprawling complex of human and alien technology, the real work began. Dr. Eliza Vargas hunched over a holographic interface, her fingers dancing across alien symbols as she correlated data from dozens of star systems. We've identified 3 key facilities where the sabotaged quantum drives were manufactured, she announced. But they're spread across different sectors, all heavily guarded. Jake Harrison, who had somehow become Earth's de facto diplomat to the stars, frowned at the display. So we're looking at a 3-pronged attack. That's spreading our forces mighty thin. The ambassador, its iridescent skin pulsing with patterns of concern, chimed in. And we must move swiftly. Our intelligence suggests the conspirators are accelerating their plans. They know we're onto them. Chen nodded grimly. Then we don't have a choice. We'll have to hit all 3 targets simultaneously. As they began to plan the unprecedented operation, a new challenge emerged. The quantum drive facilities were protected by advanced defense systems, unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. Even with their alien allies' technology, a frontal assault seemed doomed to failure. It was in this moment of seeming impossibility that human ingenuity shone brightest. "Wait a minute," Jake said, a glint in his eye. "What if we don't need to overpower their defenses? What if we could just walk right in?" All eyes turned to the rancher, a mix of confusion and curiosity on human and alien faces alike. Jake grinned. "Y'all ever hear of a Trojan horse?" Over the next 48 hours, a plan as audacious as it was brilliant took shape. Using a combination of Earth's most advanced stealth technology and alien cloaking devices, they would disguise 3 strike teams as routine maintenance crews. The ships would be hollowed-out husks of decommissioned freighters, filled with elite soldiers and hackers from a dozen different species. Dr. Vargas worked tirelessly with alien engineers to modify the stealth systems, creating a hybrid technology that could fool even the most advanced scanners. "It's not just about hiding our presence," she explained, her eyes bright with the thrill of discovery. "We're bending light, heat, and even quantum signatures to make our ships look like something they're not." Meanwhile, Chen drilled the strike teams relentlessly. Humans worked alongside aliens, learning to compensate for different physiologies and thought processes. What began as an awkward collaboration slowly transformed into a seamlessly integrated force. As the deadline approached, tension mounted. Long-range sensors detected increased activity around the target facilities. The conspiracy was mobilizing, perhaps preparing for their endgame. "We're out of time," Chen announced, her face grim. "We launch in 6 hours." The next few hours were a blur of final preparations. As the strike teams boarded their disguised ships, Jake found himself standing beside the ambassador, watching the organized chaos of the launch preparations. "You know," Jake mused, "a week ago, my biggest worry was whether we have enough rain for the winter wheat. Now I'm watching humans and aliens gear up to save the galaxy. Funny how life turns out." The ambassador's skin shimmered with a pattern that Dr. Vargas had taught Jake meant amusement. "Indeed, Jake Harrison, your species continues to surprise us. This plan, it is unorthodox, perhaps even foolhardy. And yet, I find myself filled with hope." Jake tipped his hat. "That's us humans for you, too stubborn to know when we're beat." As the ships prepared for launch, Chen gathered the leaders of the operation for one final briefing. Humans stood shoulder to shoulder with beings from across the galaxy, a living testament to the unity they were fighting to preserve. "What we do today will echo across the stars," Chen said, her voice filled with quiet determination. "We carry with us the hopes of countless civilizations. Failure is not an option." With a thunderous roar, the disguised ships lifted off, quickly vanishing into the night sky. On board, human and alien soldiers checked their weapons, while tech experts made final adjustments to their sophisticated countermeasures. Back at the command center, Jake, Dr. Vargas, and the ambassador huddled around the communications array, listening to the encoded transmissions from the strike teams. Strike Team Alpha, approaching target, came the first report. No sign of detection. Strike Team Beta, in position, preparing for infiltration. Strike Team Gamma, we have visual on the facility. Defense systems appear inactive. A tense silence fell over the command center. Everything hinged on these next few moments. If their disguises failed, if the conspiracy had somehow anticipated their plan, it would all be over. Suddenly, alarms blared across all channels. "We've been made," shouted the leader of Strike Team Beta. Defensive systems activating. Hearts raced as the sounds of battle filtered through the comms. For an agonizing moment, it seemed as though the entire operation might unravel. Then a voice cut through the chaos. "Captain Chen," her tone sharp and authoritative. "Execute Protocol Omega. I repeat, Protocol Omega." It was the contingency they had hoped they wouldn't need. In each ship, hidden compartments burst open, releasing swarms of miniature drones. These weren't weapons, but the product of a collaboration between Earth's top programmers and alien AI specialists. The drones infiltrated the facility's computer systems, engaging in cyber warfare on a scale never before seen. Firewalls crumbled, security protocols were rewritten on the fly, and within minutes, the impenetrable defenses of the conspiracy's strongholds lay in digital ruins. "All teams, move in," Chen ordered. "Capture the facilities and secure all data. Let's finish this." As the strike teams stormed the facilities, the true genius of Earth's plan became clear. The Trojan horse hadn't just been about physical infiltration. It had been a multi-layered strategy combining stealth, cyber warfare, and good old-fashioned human unpredictability. Hours later, as the dust settled and reports flooded in from across the galaxy, the full scope of their victory became clear. The conspiracy had been broken, its leaders captured or scattered to the cosmic winds. In the command center, exhausted but elated, the unlikely team that had brought together a galaxy stood in awe of what they had accomplished. "We did it," Dr. Vargas breathed, her voice filled with wonder. "We actually did it." Jake chuckled, shaking his head. "Not bad for a bunch of cosmic newcomers, eh?" The ambassador's skin rippled with patterns of joy and admiration. "You have done more than save lives, my friends. You have opened the door to a new age of cooperation and understanding between species." As congratulations poured in from across Earth and beyond, Chen allowed herself a small smile. They had won this battle, but she knew it was only the beginning. Earth had proven itself on the galactic stage, and with that proof came new responsibilities, new challenges. But looking around at the diverse group of humans and aliens working side by side, Chen felt a surge of confidence. Whatever the universe had in store for them next, they would face it together. The age of Earth's cosmic isolation was over. A new chapter in human history had begun, one that would be written among the stars. Battle for Earth's skies. The victory against the quantum drive saboteurs had barely been celebrated when a new, more immediate threat emerged. Long-range sensors, enhanced by alien technology, detected a massive fleet approaching Earth at faster-than-light speeds. The conspiracy, it seemed, had one last, desperate card to play. In the newly christened Galactic Cooperation Center, formerly the simple New Mexico command post, alarms blared as holographic displays filled with ominous red markers. Captain Samantha Chen's face was grim as she addressed the Emergency Council of human and alien leaders. "Ladies, gentlemen, and honored beings of all species, we have an incoming invasion force. Estimated time of arrival: 6 hours. The ambassador's skin pulsed with patterns of deep concern. "This is unprecedented. They're committing almost their entire fleet to this attack. If Earth falls..." "Earth ain't falling," Jake Harrison interrupted, his voice firm. "Not on our watch." Dr. Eliza Vargas nodded, her eyes gleaming with determination. "Jake's right. We've come too far to give up now. But we need a plan, and fast." As the Council debated strategies, it quickly became clear that even with their alien allies, Earth was vastly outgunned. The incoming fleet boasted weaponry that could reduce entire continents to ash. It was in this moment of crisis that humanity's unique approach to problem-solving shone brightest. "Wait a minute," Chen said, a spark of inspiration in her eyes. "We don't need to match them gun for gun. We just need to neutralize their advantage." Over the next few hours, as the alien armada drew ever closer, a plan as audacious as it was brilliant took shape. It would require the combined efforts of every nation on Earth, along with their new alien allies, pushing the boundaries of science and technology to their very limits. The plan was multifaceted. First, using a combination of Earth's most powerful radio telescopes and alien quantum communication devices, they would broadcast a message across the galaxy. The truth about the conspiracy, along with evidence of Earth's role in uniting diverse species, would be shared with every civilization in range. The hope was to sway neutral parties and perhaps even turn some of the invaders' allies against them. Second, Dr. Vargas led a team in modifying Earth's weather control satellites, integrating them with alien atmospheric manipulation technology. The goal was to create a planetary defense system unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Third, Jake, drawing on his experience with Earth's varied cultures, worked with alien diplomats to craft a last-ditch message to the incoming fleet. It would be an appeal to reason, a final chance for peace, backed by the threat of a united galactic response. As the hours ticked by, the entire planet held its breath. In cities across the globe, humans and resident aliens worked side by side, preparing for the possibility of ground invasion. Ancient rivalries were set aside as nations pooled their resources and knowledge. With just 30 minutes until the fleet's arrival, Chen addressed the world. "Citizens of Earth, and our honored guests from across the stars, in a few moments, we face the greatest threat in our planet's history. But we do not face it alone. Today, we stand united, not just as a planet, but as part of a greater galactic community. Whatever happens, know that your courage, your ingenuity, and your unwavering spirit have already changed the course of cosmic history. Stand ready, stay strong, and know that every being on this planet stands with you." As her words echoed across the globe, the first ships of the invasion fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel. The sky above Earth lit up with the ominous glow of thousands of warships, their weapons primed and ready. For a tense moment, the world held its breath. Then, Jake's voice crackled across all frequencies, human and alien alike. "This is Earth calling the incoming fleet. We know why you're here, and we know you've been lied to. We're giving you one chance to turn back, or you'll be facing not just us, but the combined might of a united galaxy. What's it gonna be, folks?" Silence. Then, without warning, the lead ships opened fire. Beams of energy lanced down towards Earth's major cities. But they never reached their targets. The modified weather satellites sprang to life, creating localized atmospheric disturbances that bent the energy beams harmlessly into space. At the same time, hidden defense platforms, a mix of human and alien technology, returned fire, targeting the fleet's command ships with surgical precision. The battle for Earth's skies had begun. What followed was a confrontation unlike anything in human history. The invading fleet, expecting an easy victory, found themselves facing the defense that combined the best of multiple civilizations' technologies. Earth's atmosphere became a swirling maelstrom of controlled weather patterns, creating a constantly shifting shield that confounded enemy targeting systems. Hurricanes formed and dissipated in minutes, lightning storms struck with impossible precision, and aurora-like phenomena deflected energy weapons. Meanwhile, squadrons of fighters, human pilots flying alien-enhanced aircraft alongside their extraterrestrial allies, engaged in dogfights that spanned the stratosphere. The skills honed by generations of human combat pilots, combined with advanced alien technology, proved to be a formidable combination. On the ground, Chen coordinated the global defense from the Galactic Cooperation Center. Holographic displays showed the battle unfolding in real time, as she issued rapid-fire orders to forces around the world. Paris Squadron, Watch Your 6. Seoul Defense Grid, reroute power to Sector 7. Alien allies in Quadrant 3, we need covered fire. Dr. Vargas worked feverishly at her console, fine-tuning the weather control system on the fly. We're pushing the satellites beyond their design limits, she shouted over the din of the command center. I don't know how much longer they'll hold. Jake, meanwhile, had taken charge of the global communication effort. As the battle raged, the truth about the conspiracy spread across the galaxy. Civilizations that had been sitting on the fence were now pledging their support to Earth. Some ships in the invasion fleet, realizing they had been deceived, even turned on their former allies. Hours passed in a blur of frantic activity. The skies above Earth became a light show of weapons fire, exploding ships, and aurora-like defensive barriers. Cities huddled under shields of swirling storm clouds, while in orbit, the wreckage of destroyed vessels created a new temporary ring around the planet. Just when it seemed the defenders might buckle under the relentless assault, a new wave of ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel. For a heart-stopping moment, the command center fell silent, fearing reinforcements for the invaders. Then cheers erupted as they recognized the new arrivals, allies from across the galaxy, come to stand with Earth in its hour of need. The tide of battle turned. Caught between Earth's ingenious defenses and the arrival of reinforcements, the invasion fleet began to falter. Ship after ship surrendered or fled, until finally, the command vessel of the conspiracy itself was cornered. In a fitting end to the conflict, it wasn't a killing blow that finished the battle, but a message. The evidence of the conspiracy's lies and manipulation, broadcast across all frequencies, reached the very heart of the invasion fleet. Faced with the truth and witnessing the unity of the species they had sought to divide, the leaders of the conspiracy surrendered. As the last shots faded and the atmospheric storms calmed, a new day dawned on Earth. The planet had faced its greatest threat and emerged not just victorious, but transformed. In the crucible of crisis, humanity had proven itself to the galaxy. In the Galactic Cooperation Center, exhausted but triumphant, Chen, Jake, Dr. Vargas, and the ambassador stood together, watching the sun rise over a changed Earth. We did it, Chen breathed, allowing herself to smile for the first time in days. We actually did it. Jake chuckled, shaking his head in wonder. Not bad for a planet of newcomers, eh? We just won our first interstellar war. Dr. Vargas' eyes were bright with excitement. The scientific advancements we've made, the bridges we've built between species, this is just the beginning. The ambassador's skin rippled with patterns of joy and pride. You have done more than save your world, my friends. You have ushered in a new age of galactic cooperation. Earth will be remembered for this day for eons to come. As they stood there, watching the first light of a new era dawn, they knew that everything had changed. Earth was no longer just a small blue planet on the edge of an uncharted galaxy. It had become a beacon of hope, a symbol of unity, and a force to be reckoned with among the stars. The battle was over, but humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning. A new galactic order. 1 year after the battle for Earth's skies, the planet was almost unrecognizable. Gleaming spires of human and alien design stretched into the clouds, while in orbit, a bustling array of space stations served as a testament to Earth's new role as a galactic hub. In the Grand Assembly Hall of the newly established Galactic Cooperative, representatives from hundreds of worlds gathered for a historic occasion. At the center of it all stood the unlikely heroes who had changed the course of cosmic history: Captain Samantha Chen, Jake Harrison, Dr. Eliza Vargas, and the ambassador. As Chen took the podium, a hush fell over the diverse audience. Beings of all shapes, sizes, and compositions leaned in to hear the words of the human who had led Earth from obscurity to galactic prominence. Distinguished delegates, honored guests, fellow sentients, Chen began, her voice carrying the weight of the monumental changes they had all witnessed. 1 year ago, we stood on the brink of interstellar war. Today, we gather to formally ratify the Galactic Concordat, a document that enshrines the principles of cooperation, mutual respect, and shared progress that will guide our civilizations into a brighter future. As Chen spoke, holographic displays around the hall showcased the transformations taking place across the galaxy. Former enemy worlds now engaged in cultural exchanges, advances in science and technology, born from the collaboration of diverse species, were solving problems that had plagued civilizations for millennia. Earth's journey from an isolated world to a key player in galactic affairs has not been without its challenges, Chen continued. We have had to confront our own prejudices, overcome our fears of the unknown, and learn to see beyond the boundaries of our own planet. But in doing so, we have discovered a fundamental truth. The strength of the galaxy lies not in uniformity, but in our diversity. Jake, dressed in a suit but still wearing his signature cowboy hat, leaned over to Dr. Vargas. Who'd have thought a bunch of humans would end up playing peacemakers for the whole dang galaxy? He whispered, a hint of wonder in his voice. Vargas smiled, her eyes bright with the excitement of new discoveries. It's not just peacekeeping, Jake. The scientific cooperation alone is advancing our understanding of the universe by leaps and bounds. We're unlocking secrets of physics, biology, and consciousness that we never even knew existed. The ambassador, its skin shimmering with patterns of pride and joy, chimed in. Your species' adaptability and unique problem-solving skills have proven invaluable. Many of our oldest institutions are being revolutionized by human ideas. As if to underscore this point, Chen's speech turned to the practical implications of the new galactic order. The Galactic Concordat establishes not just a framework for peace, but a roadmap for our shared future. Joint scientific initiatives, open trade agreements, and a unified approach to exploring the unknown reaches of space are just the beginning. The holographic displays shifted, showing the first ships of the newly christened Galactic Exploration Fleet. These vessels, crewed by mixed species teams and incorporating technologies from dozens of worlds, were preparing to venture into uncharted regions of the universe. Moreover, Chen continued, her voice filled with passion. We are committed to ensuring that the benefits of our cosmic cooperation reach every corner of every world. No species, no planet, no individual will be left behind as we stride forward into this new era. The assembly hall erupted in applause, a cacophony of sounds from hundreds of different species, all united in their enthusiasm for this new vision of the future. As the formal proceedings concluded and the delegates mingled, our heroes found themselves at the center of attention. Alien diplomats, scientists, and leaders from across the galaxy approached to offer congratulations and seek insights. Jake, ever the straight talker, found himself surrounded by a group of alien anthropologists fascinated by human culture. Now look, he drawled, a twinkle in his eye. I can explain rodeos to you folks, but some things you've just got to experience for yourself. How about we organize the first galactic rodeo? Could be mighty interesting to see how different species handle riding a bucking bronco. The idea, absurd as it seemed, was met with enthusiastic agreement. It was precisely this kind of cultural exchange that was breaking down barriers and fostering understanding between species. Meanwhile, Dr. Vargas was deep in conversation with a group of alien scientists, her hands moving animatedly as she described her latest research. By combining our understanding of quantum mechanics with the Zircol's mastery of subspace fields, we're on the verge of developing instantaneous communication across any distance. The implications for space exploration, for understanding the very fabric of the universe, it's beyond anything we could have imagined. The ambassador, observing all of this with its multiple eyes, turned to Captain Chen. Your people continue to surprise and impress us, Samantha Chen. In all our millennia of space exploration, we never anticipated that a young species from an outlying planet would be the key to uniting the galaxy. Chen smiled, a mix of pride and humility in her expression. We're just doing what humans have always done, adapting, learning, and striving to be better. We may have helped bring the galaxy together, but it's the combined efforts of all our species that will keep it united. As the celebration continued, news came in from across Earth. In cities and towns around the globe, humans and their new alien neighbors were marking the occasion in their own ways. Cultural festivals, scientific symposiums, and peace rallies blended the best of Earth's traditions with the rich diversity of galactic society. Reports also flowed in from other worlds, former enemies working together on massive engineering projects, joint scientific expeditions making groundbreaking discoveries, and interspecies families celebrating the ratification of the Concordat. As the day drew to a close, our heroes found themselves on a balcony overlooking the sprawling galactic capital that Earth had become. The sky above was alive with the lights of ships and stations, a constant reminder of their new place in the cosmic order. "You know," Jake mused, gazing up at the stars, "a part of me still can't believe all this started with a crashed ship on my ranch. Feels like a lifetime ago." Dr. Vargas nodded, her eyes reflecting the starlight. "We've come so far in such a short time, but there's still so much to learn, so much to explore, and challenges to face," Chen added, ever the pragmatist. "We may have achieved peace, but maintaining it will require constant effort and vigilance." The ambassador's skin rippled with a pattern that they had all come to recognize as optimism. "True, but we face those challenges together now. United, there is no obstacle we cannot overcome, no frontier we cannot explore." As they stood there, contemplating the future that stretched out before them, a bright streak cut across the sky, one of the new exploration vessels heading out to uncharted space. "Well," Jake said, a grin spreading across his face, "I reckon that's our cue. The galaxy's waiting, folks. What say we go see what's out there?" Chen laughed, feeling a surge of excitement at the prospect. "Always ready for the next adventure, aren't you, Jake?" "You bet," he replied. "After all, someone's got to teach the galaxy how to two-step." As laughter filled the air, blending with the distant sounds of a civilization spanning the stars, they knew that this was just the beginning. Earth had found its place in the galactic community, not through conquest or superiority, but through cooperation, innovation, and an indomitable spirit of exploration. The next chapter of human history, of galactic history, was about to unfold. And for the first time, it would be written together by the combined efforts of countless species united in a grand cosmic adventure. As the first light of a new day began to creep over the horizon, Earth stood ready to lead the way into a brighter, more united future for all.